A new addition to your home video collection from the Weather Channel.
From the Weather Channel, a special presentation. It's been called Tornado Alley, a tract across America's heartland that spawns more tornadoes than anywhere else on Earth. What are the natural forces that cause nature's most fearsome storms? Who are the new breed of scientists who study tornadoes up close? How can we protect ourselves, our homes, our children from the enemy wind?
For 1,000 years before the white man arrived, the Kansa Indians inhabited these plains. They honored the bison, which fed them, provided them clothing and shelter, and they held a deep respect for the wind. The word Kansa means people of the wind, according to historians, and it is from this word that the state of Kansas takes its name. But the prairie is vastly different today from the time when the Kansa made their home here. The Kansa Indians would scarcely recognize their ancestral land today, with its bustling cities, its traffic, its crowded malls. But some things never change. The Indians of old would know their ancient homeland by its wind.
It sounded like a freight train. It just passed right on top of us.
Packing winds up to 300 miles per hour, it can dip out of the sky to almost capriciously destroy one home while leaving its neighbor untouched. Or it can cut a gash a mile wide, turning all it contacts into matchsticks. It can stay on the ground for moments or for several hours, sit in one place, or barrel along like a runaway train.
Watch faster, Greg. It's catching us. You gotta go, buddy. You gotta really go.
They usually come alone. Sometimes they seem to like company, in thick versions, thin versions, even preposterously long serpentine versions. Tornadoes are not unique to the plains. Indeed, they occur in all 50 states, but they happen here more than anywhere else on Earth. Tornado Alley, cutting through the heartland of America, Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, and Missouri, and extending as far north as Indiana. What are the unique factors here that make conditions perfect for nature's most fearsome storm?
Well, of course, one of the things we look for is warm, moist air coming up from the Gulf of Mexico. If you can combine that with cooler and drier air coming in from the north and west, well, add those ingredients to a little bit of daytime heating and wind shear, things may really start brewing.
When warm, moist Gulf air meets cool Canadian air, the warm air rises. Clouds form. Storms develop. Wind shear, winds at different altitudes blowing in different directions, causes the air between the layers to begin spinning almost like a horizontal tornado, although not nearly as fast. When this horizontally rotating air meets an updraft, the rotating tube can become stretched and tilted. As the now nearly vertical tube tightens its spin, it speeds up. And the result here at the National Weather Service office in Norman, Oklahoma, meteorologists use the latest tools, some still experimental, tracking the severe storms that spawn tornadoes.
Probably our most important function is the issuance of warnings for severe thunderstorms, flash floods, and tornadoes. We have a large number of severe thunderstorms and tornadoes each year, and it's very important that we are able to give the public some lead time so they can take some sort of precaution.
On April 26, 1991, the people of Andover, Kansas, at the northern range of this advanced Doppler radar, would need all the lead time they could get.
This is a time sequence of the traditional reflectivity display. On April 26th of 1991, the day of a very large tornado outbreak in the Central Plains, primarily across relatively unpopulated areas in north central Oklahoma. That same day, however, we had a series of tornadoes just across the border in south central Kansas, and there were a number of fatalities. Now it's showing the signs of the characteristic hook echo.
The hook echo, a typical pattern that means rain is wrapping itself around a spinning core, and that rotation means one thing.
Oh, God. It's gonna miss it, but it ain't gonna miss part of this area.
As the storm system moved to the north and east across the plains, it spawned more than 50 tornadoes. The most deadly struck the small town of Andover, Kansas.
Regan, my God, it's gonna hit us!
It's coming right towards our house.
We had 2 officers that had sighted the tornado already, and we had the siren had failed.
Sergeant Paul C. took this video from his patrol car as he drove through the Golden Spur Trailer Park in Andover. Here we can clearly see the approaching tornado, now a monstrous storm with winds exceeding 250 miles per hour. And it appears some residents are unaware or unmindful of the imminent danger. All those who would die in Andover that day would be residents who did not or could not get to a shelter in time.
I was in the living room. In fact, sitting in the living room watching TV, and had enough time to get up, turn off the TV, shut the doors to the TV cabinet, and go to the basement. My son had called and said, "Mom, get to the basement," and that was the last I talked to him until we found telephones that were working.
Carolyn, Andover up. It's done Andover right now. Just hit the chief's house. It's going right through that. It's going right through that mobile home park.
My God, Regan!
Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God.
When I came out of the basement, my first thought was, my God, they're all dead. I could not believe that anyone could live through what I was seeing.
It looked like a bomb had gone off. It was unrecognizable if a person wasn't familiar with the town. If you didn't know how the streets were laid out, you'd never recognize it.
The first priority was accounting for your neighbors. And making sure that, oh, they're not home yet, and we know that they'll be home later, or, oh my gosh, they may be in the house and we need to get in there and see if we can find them.
13 people died in Andover that day. In all, 19 died across Kansas. Dozens more were injured. Hundreds were left homeless, with damage estimates reaching into the tens of millions. Today, this small Kansas town still bears the scar of that awful afternoon. Its survivors will bear their memories for a lifetime. And along with the memories is a shared desire to understand, why did this happen? How could it happen? And how can we make ourselves safer the next time it happens? There are numerous ways to study any natural event. Some take their research outdoors, watching the sky as clouds build into thunderheads. At the National Center for Atmospheric Research in Boulder, Colorado, they create the outdoors on a computer.
We are using numerical simulation models which allow us to simulate the structure of these storms and compare it to observations to understand first whether the model is capable of representing the real world, and then to try to analyze in detail how these storms work and what motivates their evolution.
This animation, produced by the National Center for Supercomputing Applications, is based in part on the work of Joseph Klemp and Richard Rotuno. They use measurements taken during severe storms, wind speed and direction, temperature, pressure, tens of thousands of measurements to create a computer simulation of a storm, a sort of what-if game wherein man controls all vital elements. The animation vividly illustrates the airflow into and through a developing thunderstorm. The red particles represent rising air. The blue represent falling air. Computer simulations allow researchers to experiment with different directions of wind flow, different temperatures, and more to study the effect each of these factors has on the development of a storm. Here, the arrows represent the rate of rotation in the winds as they progress through the storm. Note the increase in rotation as the winds enter an updraft or a downdraft. Updrafts and downdrafts are vital elements in the development of the storm's rotation.
I think in the future, the research question is, can you actually take data from, say, a Doppler radar and put it into a computer model such as ours, and then run a forecast to see whether or not, say, thunderstorm A will develop and become a tornadic thunderstorm or not.
The limitation is obviously that we may or may not be simulating things that correspond to the real world.
That's the advantage of doing work in the laboratory.
At Purdue University, Dr. John Snow deals with real winds, real measurements, real funnels, but on a really small scale.
We have a device which we call a tornado vortex chamber that replicates in small scale many of the features of the lower 1/3 of a thunderstorm. And by controlling the conditions in that chamber, we're able to develop a small-scale spinning column of air that has many of the same properties as tornadoes in nature. We're able to control things like the air flow, the geometry of the flow, the amount of spin that we put into the air. So all the basic factors that control tornadoes, we have some degree of control here in the laboratory.
Dr. Snow has discovered that unlike the super-fast, high-altitude jet stream winds, the winds of a tornado are most concentrated very close to the ground, where there is more damage to be done in a donut-shaped ring. Much like a hurricane, tornadoes have what could be called an eye, within which the winds are almost calm. Actual figures on wind speeds are impossible to come by. No anemometer has ever survived inside a violent tornado. Researchers estimate the speed by the degree of damage the tornado caused. Based on damage estimates, the Fujita scale rates tornadoes from F0, with speeds less than 72 miles per hour, to F5, packing winds over 260, perhaps as high as 300 miles per hour.
The basic part of our research here is to understand how tornadoes produce the very high winds that they do and where those winds are concentrated within the tornado. That in turn can be used to not only to check numerical models, but also to be given to people like civil engineers who are interested in designing tornado-resistant or tornado-proof buildings. Here in the lab, we can reproduce the same vortex, so we can do experiments over and over again. In the field, you get one shot. The tornado comes by, you take your data, and that's what nature gave you.
They just issued a tornado warning for right where we are.
But this researcher's approach, in true Western spirit, might seem suited to busting Broncos.
You learn a lot from the laboratory models and the computer simulations, but you still don't know what's really happening in nature. To know what's happening in nature, you have to go out and make real measurements. We try to situate ourselves so that we're roughly 2 miles, maybe as close as 1 mile, away from the region where the tornado might be. That's usually off to the southeast of the storm. First thing we do is look for the wall cloud. Very nice wall cloud, and the whole thing is rotating.
One of the discoveries made by the trackers is that the wall cloud is one of the first indications that a tornado may be forming.
A wall cloud is a lowered cloud base. So when you see a wall cloud, it's evidence that you have a very strong updraft region and it's right next to a downdraft region. And that's an area where you expect to find tornadoes. rapid rotation in the wall cloud, and the funnel cloud is just to our north-northwest. We're packing up the radar and we're going to move north.
They've also learned the tornado usually forms on the rain-free southwest edge of the storm.
Very often, the tornado will form simultaneously with the appearance of what we call a rear flank downdraft. We begin to see a clear spot or clear area begin on the western side of the wall cloud. When this rear flank downdraft wraps up around the wall cloud, we frequently will see the beginning of a tornado. That thing is starting to form a nice funnel. Actually, hold it. Can you turn it on? Oops. It's starting to form a funnel, and it's not that far away. What we have been doing over the last 3 or 4 years is use a portable Doppler radar to make measurements of the wind speeds within the tornado. We've been attempting to map the wind field of the tornado itself. Go a little bit to the left of the funnel. FMCW.
FMCW.
Oh, what a classic.
But for all the information gained by these ventures, it's hard to tell what provides the greater motivation. The desire to learn, or the sheer adrenaline rush of the chase.
I'll give it an 8.
An 8?
An 8, 8.5. It was very close and very intense.
Common sense dictates a dual approach to tornado safety. First, we must learn to predict tornadoes more accurately, spot them sooner, and provide more time to take cover. And second, since our forecasts will never be perfect, we must learn to protect ourselves better when they strike, build better, safer structures. At the National Weather Service state-of-the-art facility in Norman, Oklahoma, researchers are using tomorrow's technology to prevent today's tragedies.
The Norman office has a couple of things that I think are unique. One is its location across the street from a major research laboratory, the National Severe Storms Laboratory. Also the fact that we have a lot of technology in our office that is being tested before it's implemented nationwide gives us the advantage of dealing with new types of equipment and putting it to work as a forecast tool at an earlier time.
One of the newest and most useful tools for predicting tornadoes is the advanced Doppler radar, not yet available to most TV stations.
The Doppler radar is a very advanced computer-controlled radar that, in addition to looking at storms as we have seen them in the past in terms of rainfall intensity, can also measure the winds blowing either toward or away from the radar. And that allows us to look at the storm and evaluate its potential to produce, say, tornadoes, large hail, damaging straight-line winds. This is the wind toward and away from the radar. The greens are wind toward the radar. The reds are winds blowing away from the radar. But we can see with the Doppler that circulation descending and strengthening at the same time, and then issue the warning before we have any visual clue that a tornado is actually forming.
Doppler radar units such as the one in Norman are active now in Sterling, Virginia, and Melbourne, Florida as well. They'll be deployed throughout the U.S. over the next few years. And along with an improved ability to predict tornadoes comes an increased warning capability.
There are some new features that are available in these workstations that allow the forecasters to very quickly get out warnings. I could use one of these small little clear air returns to simulate a thunderstorm for the purposes of demonstration here. So now I'm going to put out a warning for that storm by turning on the warning generation software.
With just a few simple keystrokes, the threatened area is identified, the warning box drawn, and the warning issued in less than a minute, half the time it once took.
I just hit a return, and that message goes automatically out on all of our media outlets, and immediately the local television and radio and national agencies will get those messages and be able to act on them.
As soon as that warning is put out by the local weather service office, we receive it almost immediately here at the Weather Channel, and literally at the same time we receive it, it is sent back out to the destination where it is supposed to go, and if your county is in the warned area, you will instantly see a red screen tornado warning on your TV set.
Despite advances in our ability to predict tornadoes and provide warnings, the storms themselves are still inevitable. And when they strike...
Clear, 3, 2, 1, fire.
We can only hope we are prepared and protected.
Flying debris is probably the most dangerous thing about the tornado. It not only does a lot of damage to physical property, but it's very dangerous to individuals if you're caught out in the open.
In a basement laboratory at the Institute for Disaster Research in Lubbock, Texas, Dr. James McDonald uses a 20-foot cannon to simulate the effect of tornadic winds. The air-powered cannon shoots a 12-foot 2x4 at speeds up to 150 miles per hour.
What we're looking at here primarily is the resistance of different types of building materials to the impact of these missiles. And this, of course, is very important in designing and trying to protect structures from the effects of the winds. Reinforced concrete is the best material, but it's not always practical to use that in some applications, so that's why we're looking at some of the weaker materials as well. The worst material, just plain old wood siding and sheetrock and things like that you find in an ordinary timber-constructed house or a mobile home. In the future, it may allow us to develop new types of wall systems, for example, that would be able to absorb the energy of the missile more efficiently than what we're using today.
But conducting a controlled experiment in a laboratory, even one in which boards hit brick at 150 miles per hour, is an experience far different from living through a tornado, as Tolly Hartman did. The tornado that struck Andover was an F5, with winds estimated at 300 miles per hour.
I took pictures of the house and the neighborhood right after the storm and put them together in a scrapbook. This is a picture of the garage after the tornado pushed the back wall down on top of the cars that were in the garage. The garage door went off to nobody knows where. We never found any part of the garage door. A steel-clad front door with a push-on hubcap from like a utility trailer that penetrated the steel coating on that door just like a bullet would have. These are pictures of the kitchen on the east side of the house after the storm had passed through. The old regulator clock on the wall stopped as the tornado went through the house. A piece of fence going through the wall. You don't have enough composure about you to take as many as you should have. I have one that I think is really neat. It's a picture of the moon rise that night. And it was just as clear and pretty like nothing had happened, except there weren't any houses left.
One year later, the rebuilding of Andover, Kansas is almost complete. Tolly Hartman was one of the lucky ones. 13 died in Andover that day, all of whom could not or did not find shelter in time. A tragedy anywhere, but one of monstrous proportions in a small town such as this. Advances in tornado prediction have made life on the plains safer. Still, we can never be assured the tragedy that struck Andover will not happen again. And if it comes again, it may come just as swiftly and just as brutally.
Tell those people to get down. This is big time.
And so perhaps the most valuable lesson is one the Kansa Indians learned 1,000 years ago. We must grant the wind its due respect.
Warren Fadley. I'm a professional photographer who specializes in videotaping and photographing severe storms, such as this violent Texas storm which just produced a tornado about 30 minutes ago. The art of chasing storms involves two windows. One is the artistic window, which gets smaller as the daylight fades, and the other window is the window of safety, which is always getting smaller as you approach the storm.
When people learn of my unusual profession, I am always asked the same question: why chase storms? As a photojournalist, I pursue storms to record the events on film and video, but some chasers are scientists and researchers who pursue bad weather in mobile laboratories. This enables them to gather critical scientific data. Although caution is always practiced in and around severe weather, there is always the possibility that the unexpected will happen. This dramatic video was shot by the National Severe Storm Labs chase team while pursuing a storm in Oklahoma.
See, in about 9 miles, we can go east.
That's well in front
from here,
of
it'll be about
the
5 miles.
circulation
or 4
area.
miles. Boy, this is really barreling around. Rain curtains passing by ahead of us. We're going to enter rain, possible hail. Rain curtains wrapping very rain curtains wrapping very rapidly. We're heading right into the mesocyclone. We're going to try to get east of the mesocyclone. Very strong
camera straight ahead, since that's what we're heading into, right into the
rain,
mesocyclone.
no hail. CG, in the rain, 11 o'clock. Going by the road to Brooksville. By the road to Brooksville, our odometer will be, can you give me an odometer right here? 613.4, very strong winds, rain and hail, moving very rapidly eastward just ahead of us. Watch for possible debris. We're entering a high danger zone. You might, if the wind gets too much to battle, you might slow it down. Estimated wind speed 50 to 60 knots. Rain or hail curtains wrapping extremely rapidly right at 11:30, right ahead of us, and very dark ahead. And maybe we'll have better visibility in just a second. We're driving into a strong mesocyclone. Okay, now be real careful, Neil. Slow it down. This would be where we drive right into the tornado, so be very, very careful.
CG.
Rapid circulation right overhead. Slow down, Neil. Stop. Rapid circulation. About 1/2. Debris! Tornado passing right in front of us.
Oh my God. The sound package. Sound package. Get it out. Through it. Coming right at us, I'll tell you that. Debris on the ground. It's coming this way. Wipe off the camera. Quick. Fast. Good. It's close enough. Let's go. Let's go. Come on, Neil. Let's go.
Come on, Neil.
Let's go, Neil.
Go.
Neil.
Go ahead.
Okay, we're 1 east of that intersection.
Oh, this way. Okay, I got it. I got it. I got it. It's crossing the road. Yep, see debris on the ground. And it's crossing the road now.
Oh, I blew up a power line. Right. I saw a spark right where the park.
One of the most impressive tornadoes that I ever videotaped occurred near Laverne, Oklahoma in May of 1991. The tornado formed from a small cone-shaped funnel and grew into a massive quarter-mile wide vortex.
What highway are we on, do you know?
No, but we need to be going slower.
Yeah, just watch these guys in front here. Tornado's only about a mile away now.
Pretty wild. That is cool. Damn, Warren's forecasting pays off. That is wild. Lightning, did you see that?
Lightning in the funnel, around the funnel.
We're coming up to the top of the hill. We're going to try and shoot some more photos.
Should have a little bit more contrast behind it. You ever forget what highway we're on?
I don't remember.
I think we're on Highway 270 going eastbound in Oklahoma at this time. Large tornado on the ground.
The road all the way.
You see any contrast behind
We're
it?
going to have to stop. The cops have stopped here. Another funnel forming up there, I think. Almost looks like
That's going the wrong way. It could be. Can you hear it yet?
leaning. This baby is staying on the ground.
Sounds like we're in an airplane.
We're at 283 and 270 and 3 where they all meet.
Going northbound on 283 in Oklahoma.
Oh, hey, are we in Oklahoma? Are we in Oklahoma?
We're in Oklahoma now, I think. North on 283.
No, we're still in
6 miles south of Laverne. Large wedge on the ground.
You got your wind microphone on?
I don't have a wind microphone. Just keep going, but watch your cars. Yeah, I think we have it. Just keep going, keep going.
Well, we can get a little bit closer to still.
This picturesque storm, called a dryline supercell, occurred near Booker, Texas in May of 1990. This storm is a classic example of how sharing winds in the atmosphere can rotate storms and create tornadoes. Despite its menacing appearance, this isolated storm is only known to have produced several small funnel clouds.
Situation for much of Oklahoma. Extreme instability and the expected winds aloft indicate the potential for a significant severe weather outbreak later today, including the possibility of very destructive tornadoes. Residents throughout the area are urged to take this situation seriously and keep in touch.
It's Friday, April 26, 1991, 2:50 p.m. on Highway 183. Just north of Interstate 40.
On April 26, 1991, a line of intense severe storms in central Kansas and northern Oklahoma produced numerous tornadoes, including the tragic Andover, Kansas tornado. I intercepted this monstrous tornado in Garfield County, Oklahoma.
Tornado just a few miles away now. a very, very, very large vortex. We're gonna have to stop here. It's gonna be crossing the road. Storm chasers, of course, going crazy over the gigantic wedge. Probably less than a mile down the street now. Okay, it's going to be crossing the road now. Very large tornado, unfortunately, appears to be going through a populated area now. Tornado less than 1 mile away, large wedge on the ground. Got to stop here pretty soon. We do have debris falling in the area. This is the wall cloud. I'm a little bit closer to it now.
Although I treat every storm, big or little, with cautious respect, there are always situations where you simply cannot outsmart Mother Nature. In June of 1992, severe storms in central Kansas were expanding so rapidly it was difficult to keep out of the way of forming tornadoes.
Tornado has just crossed the path of my car just in front of me. We do have damage, heavy damage in the area. Tornado is still on the ground over in that area. Time check is 4:29 p.m. Still experiencing extremely high winds, debris in the power lines. We have emergency units rolling directly in front of my vehicle now. Tornado still on the ground over there behind the rain. Large tornado still on the ground. Tornado's just a couple miles away now. This is the same tornado that just went through the town and did heavy damage back there. Tornado number 2 coming down. That's the second tornado. Touchdown briefly. These tornadoes are forming very, very rapidly, with almost no warning as it goes back up into the cloud. Time check is 4:47 p.m. Funnel cloud. Almost directly over the chase vehicle at this time. Going to be watching it very closely. Be leaving this location very shortly, depending on what it decides to do. Tornado on the ground, behind the chase vehicle, extreme winds. Circulation on the ground. Some of my best papers just flew out the window. I'm going to have to go back there. This is the area just a few minutes ago where I was escaping from, and as you can see, there is debris on the ground. There probably was a tornado on the ground behind me. It's a good thing I did make the exit I did.
Yeah, but stay away from windows as we've mentioned
under
before.
Another updraft, it seems
Also,
like all day.
Tornado warning
no matter
in
which
effect
direction
also
you go,
for
you end up
Western
under a
Republic
violent
County.
updraft.
So we have a tornado warning in effect for Mitchell County, Eastern Georgia,
Tornado
Western
warning
Republic County, and
in
a
this
severe
area right
thunderstorm
now.
warning in effect for Cloud County.
Of the car, or make that a funnel cloud. I don't know if the guy down the road sees it or not. I'm pointing up now and warning him as I'm backing out of here. It is directly overhead. Directly overhead.
Once again, forces in effect for the entire north central Kansas area. These are dangerous storms. If you are in their path, you should prepare for damaging winds in excess of 55 miles an hour, and in the tornado warning areas, up to 80 to 90 miles.
You had a funnel cloud right above you. You had a pretty good funnel cloud right above you. It's gone now. I tried to honk the horn and let you know.
Although storm chasing can appear as an exciting profession, successful and safe chasing requires purpose and years of experience. And through my work, I have also developed a deep respect for the violence and tragedy that tornadoes can bring.
Sirens.
As you have seen in this video segment, severe storms can often develop explosively and change direction without warning. The greatest danger from severe storms is not always tornadoes. Storms can also produce deadly lightning, flash flooding, destructive winds, and large hail with little advanced warning. Chasing, videotaping, or any activity near storms is very dangerous. Storm-related activities should only be conducted by experienced individuals who have the proper training and legitimate purpose for their actions.